Hello and welcome back to the Babenbergs. As something different to start before we get back into our tour, I felt that we should do a little bit of a look around the map, what's happening in different areas of the world and how does it affect us. So, let's start with France. What is happening in France? Well, France, they had this young child who was in charge. So Hughes was in charge, he got deposed, his daughter got put in charge, she died of wounds, and then Hughes got put in charge again. However, Hughes is currently losing a war. This is a war against the tyranny of his daughter, who is no longer in charge because she died of her wounds. Now, a war against the tyranny means that if he loses it, he will be deposed. Who does that put in charge? It puts in charge this guy, who is of House Carling, which means that the Carlings would hold France, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, so that's what's happening there. Norway? Well, Norway controls most of, well, I guess mostly England here. I was going to say most of Britain, but yeah, I suppose that's also true. So they control most of that, but they are also in an invasion war. They are defending against Iceland in their invasion. So, yeah, interesting times for Norway. I suspect they're going to win it. I'm kind of interested to see what happens, because if they end up taking Scotland here, there's actually a chance that they end up forming the Empire of Britannia, which would be unusual for Norway, I would think. But anyway, there's that. Over here, we have Sweden. Sweden currently appears to be existing exactly as it's been since we started, except that they still have Denmark as their tributary, which I don't know how they got into that situation, but I guess good for Sweden. Finland are expanding, and they have a conqueror in charge, so they're going to continue expanding. Likely this way, because we have the Sami Confederation up here. Confederation was a new thing added with the Nomads patch. I haven't spent a lot of time looking at it outside the context of Nomads, but basically the idea is that these are actually a lot of individual independent realms here, but they will defend each other if somebody attacks them. So it's like a more secure defensive pact, I guess you could say. Anyway, so there's that. We have the Empire of Carpathia, which exists here and seems to be solid. Like, there seems to be no issues whatsoever. And maybe they might expand, but likelihood is they're probably going to be defending against people on their borders. So, yeah, I think they're probably going to stay this size mostly, unless the Byzantines absolutely fall apart. Oh, did I mention the Byzantines are absolutely falling apart? They are in a war for Michael's claim on the Byzantines, so this house. And they are also in a war for this person's claim on the Byzantines, which means that they are going to be in constant war for a long time, and even if one of these wars ends, the other one will continue, which means that they will continue to be absolutely weak in terms of military, and more people will rise up with their own claims, especially as the leadership keeps changing and more people have claims on the Byzantine Empire. Which would be a problem for the Byzantines if they had a strong force over here in the Middle East who was going to attack them. However, there is zero strong force in the Middle East as the Seljuks appear to have disappeared. Was there not a Persian Empire at one point? What happened to that? It got destroyed about 17 years ago when this guy was murdered. Oh, alright then. Well, there you go. So that was the Persian Empire, which is destroyed. There's also no Arabian Empire. What happened to that? Did that exist? That got destroyed before the game started. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Arabia? Never existed. Okay. So, basically, none of this is properly solidified. That's the main thing here. Having a look at Africa and Iberia. Not a lot has changed from the norm, I think. Although I haven't seen Zyla before, but yeah, it seems to just be a normal realm. I believe that if we have a look here, yeah, it does look like Catholicism is losing out in Iberia, but there's still some pockets of it here and there, so, you know, it's not quite decided yet. Moving over here, we have India, which is massively expanding with the Ghaznavid Empire. Now, it might not look like they're expanding and they have a conqueror leading them, but they do, and I suspect they are the strongest nation in the world. Yes, they are the strongest nation in the world, and they are continuing to expand. One thing that we found when we were expanding into this, when we did a world conquest, is this area takes a lot longer to conquer than you would think it would take. Because if we actually split it down to its individual duchies, there's so many tiny little duchies all the way over here, and even if you go kingdoms, it's not that much better, so it takes you a really long time to actually conquer your way through it. But once you've done that, you become very, very, very strong. And there is no Persian Empire. There's nobody strong over here. They are going to continue expanding for a while. They are going to be very, very scary if they can hold together. However, conquerors tend not to hold together. Let me just check. Yeah, so their father was a conqueror, which means that this is the final generation of conqueror, which means that the children will not inherit that and the land might split apart slightly, but well, we'll see how that goes for them. And then up here, well, there's a bunch of nomadic realms that are kind of just chilling around, and it's really hard to quantify who is strong and who isn't, because the moment that they do a migration, it will all change. So, yeah, there's them. Anyway, thought it was interesting to have a look at, and now we're going back to our tour, because none of that really applies to us, because we're just living our life in Austria. So, let's continue living our life in Austria at the Cultural Festival. Friendly exchanges. Oh, also, how far away are we from this? 11 years. So in 11 years, we're going to merge Bavarian and French. Wonderful. Instilled virtue, that's fine. Hybrid culture. Tunisian. Oh, cool. Okay. Learn language, pleasant prattle. As we pass through the barony of München, a jubilant local approaches my entourage. His smile stretches from ear to ear. I discern that he is offering a warm welcome, but the finer aspects of his speech are sadly lost on me. Be that as it may, I wave away my attentive companions and return his joyful greeting. I can hardly imagine a more excellent chance to practice my Magyar. We can have a pleasant conversation. Feeling rather feisty today. And we can try and increase cultural acceptance between Hungarian and French, or join us on our journey and we get interlocutor joined entourage. Oh. Let's say I'm feeling rather feisty today. Hey, we got a huge amount of progress in our debate with them. Wonderful. More people are becoming wounded in prowess challenges, and on the wrong foot. The music in the main stage is promptly followed by the dancers. The beauty of their movements makes them look like part of the stage. They throw their hands into the air and it feels like watching trees grow new branches. A gasp comes from the audience when one of the dancers starts climbing the wooden wall of the stage. And now, he says, I shall take revenge from... As he falls to the ground, his hood comes down, revealing the face of Count Ludolf's son, Alberto. Oh, and say that surely hurt, or bring a physician immediately. Okay, yeah, bring a physician immediately. We get helped injured performer. Let's do that. Right. The grand play. A wood stage stands proudly in the middle of the square. Festive wreaths hang from the poles, and actors hide on one of the sides, giggling, chatting. They all go silent the moment that Count Ludolf walks in, his chest puffed up, so proud. I would like to announce that the play in honour of our most distinguished guest, Duchess Haley Ermengarde, is about to begin. Please delight. The story goes on and on, talking about the streets of Altenburg and my deeds, and there I am, dressed like a buffoon. What do you think you're doing? Yes. Exactly. On the right foot. Local peasants have set up stalls with vegetables and occasionally, rarely, chicken. As I continue my walk, accompanied by a decent amount of courtiers, I see a familiar face among them, his eyes locked into mine. My lady, he finally approaches me. With a hand gesture, my guards let him continue. You helped me in times of need, when I got injured during the performance, and it is my turn to repay you with what I have. I know these lands well. say adjust payment. We get terrain insight, or I did what I had to, no more. I don't need terrain insight, so I won't take the stress for it. Oh, random person in our court learned High German. Okay. More people learning High German. That's my player Aaron's son. Although he won't need it in theory because we're going to merge the cultures, at which point he will learn High German. Well, actually no, you'd only learn High German if we switch the language to High German. I suspect we probably do want to do that, but that's interesting. Anyway, I've concluded my visit of München, and now my procession prepares to depart, and I will take my tribute. Wonderful. To the perceptive Haley Ermengarde, I've studied the Diol-Vulgar language for many moons. I personally penned this missive using the Diol-Vulgar script, a letter of friendship from a speaker of Brythonic. This is Normandy. Alright, well, I'll say thanks for the letter. So that's Normandy up here, who is currently doing something. They are currently defending in a war in France. Oh, okay. They're on the French side here. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. That's not going to go well for them. Cultural Festival in Eschenloh. Alright, let's start. So cultural acceptance has gone up even more. We're at 75%. Also, I just want to check something here. Is this disease? Yeah, it's not spread to the holding we're actually going to. It just looks like it has. Alright, people are learning Saxon. A lot of courtiers are gaining random trait ups. This is pretty good. This trip has been highly successful in terms of powering up our realm. Backstage pass. All the usual wonders and merriment of the cultural festival are going on around me, and it is as if I've been transported to another world. I'm brought back to the earthly realm through the sight of some nefarious individuals shuffling around the periphery of the camp, sneaking behind a creaky wooden stage. I'm overrun with curiosity, unable to see exactly what these cretins are up to. Then, I see Meganhard emerge from the backstage with an entourage of sordid swords. I should investigate, or I shouldn't. I'm too intrigued. The box beneath the stage. Behind the stage I find nothing but a small chest. Its material seems hardy, its craftsmanship strangely humble and shoddy, not the showpiece one would expect from a festival of this scale. It is bound by what appears to be a puzzle lock covered in crude carvings of grotesques and beasts of all sorts. My mind is lively with curiosity. I simply must know what is inside. I can smash it, this is too much effort, or I can solve it. I can solve the lock, easy, with my stewardship. I failed. Alright then. Well. My daughter knows Norse now. That's cool. We just discovered the communal government thing here. What is communal government? It's in the previous tier, that's what it is. Ah, there it is. Counties now reach the maximum development penalty at 35 development. Now, that doesn't actually matter for us, because I believe that we actually care about this one, which already had it. The reason it doesn't matter is because that cultural bonus is applied on the culture of the holding, not on the culture of the holder of the holding. So it doesn't matter to us, because all of ours are Bavarian, not French. So, there you go. Right. Carrying on. And we will take our party demands. Wonderful. We're now heading to the next place. Mountains out of molehills. The road has gotten incredibly hilly the past few hours, and everyone is beginning to weary. With no end of the hills in sight, my caravan master Lucino approaches me and says, "My lady, our mounts cannot carry on like this for much longer. The poor animals need a break, or I fear they'll collapse. We must stop to rest." He knows full well that this will delay our journey to Benoit. Okay. I think that seems perfectly acceptable. Okay. Caught outside. Just as we're about to set out, it starts snowing. I can't help but curse my poor luck, but I had seen the clouds coming in for a while, and it doesn't seem to let up anytime soon. If we want to make our journey on time, we had best set out, but riding through a snowstorm is risky at best. I can take the chance of becoming ill, or an opportunity to rest. We'll rest. That's fine. Hard workers. While traveling through St. Gallen, I can't help but notice every person I see works with a quiet intensity I don't often notice in my own lands. Is this land Bavarian? This land is Swabian. Okay. Anyway. I stop one of the labourers to ask them about it, and she shares some pithy wisdom. Well, you see, the trick is just to put your back into it and don't stop till the job's a good one. Well, I can get the industrious tradition, potentially, as in I can get it for cheaper prestige, or I can get some development growth. We're going to grab the development growth, because we're going to merge our culture, which means that we don't care about like the discount on reforming it, because we can't reform it likely within our lifetime anyway. So, cool. Learn language success. I have learned this emperor's language. I'm not going to send him a letter because we had no particular reason to learn language from him, but, you know, that's fine. My zealot vassals loved it, and we now know the Magyar language. Call to war? To the perceptive Hilly Ermengarde. I call on you to honour our alliance and join me in the Tuscan claim on the Duchy of Corsica. So this is an offensive war. If we decline, we lose fame and he loses opinion of us. I don't want to do that. So he, Tuscany, with 7,900 troops, has called us into a war with Corsica, who has 115, and Judic Osto of Logudora, who has 5,800. I accept. I can manage things from here. We will continue our grand tour, but we do need to raise some troops. So let's do that. Okay, speed 4. We visited Cluny Abbey, where our father died. Right. I have to figure out how we're getting to Corsica. Guess like this. Yeah. Okay. It's fine. The seasons of change. As we prepare to set off in the morning, I see Otto stand outside the camp all alone. As I walk over to talk to him, I notice a change in the wind. A surprisingly warm breeze caresses my face for a moment, a noticeable change from the cold weather we've had recently. It is finally spring. Okay. Let's make Otto like us a little bit. That's fine. And we are now, I believe, at our final location. There we go. Final location for the cultural festival. How I yearn to delight myself in the great activities and joys I'm sure Pola has prepared, and to lighten their bags from the weight of their gold. Day at recent cultural festival, and we get the prestige for starting it. Okay. Enemy ally joins war, so basically the leader of Corsica changed, which doesn't matter to us at all. Okay. Back to this. A couple of people became rivals at the festival. We gained some money. Who's in the war? I didn't notice that Genoa was in the war. Were they in the war when we started? Probably not. I mean, it looks like they were recently added. We could potentially siege some of this land if we wanted to. If we wanted to contribute without, like, contributing at all. Yeah. Oh, I didn't switch my siege units over. I should have done that. Alright. Well, we have money after this tour is done anyway, so we'll do it then. New learning lifestyle perk. Let's grab ourselves restraint. So we can now embrace celibacy if we want to. Do I want to embrace celibacy? Do I want another child? Probably not, right? We have an heir and 3 spare. Or, sorry, we have an heir, a spare, and 3 daughters. We potentially, if we married off Marie matrilineally, that would be absolutely fine for us, because then we'd have an heir, a spare, and then 2 daughters. I don't think that we should need anyone else. I think embracing celibacy is fine. And we get the trait celibate, which is quite nice for, yeah, piety and clergy opinion. Let's become celibate for now. We can always just not become celibate later. Like, we can abandon it if we want to. So, it's fine. Wait a second. You're currently traveling, so it's impossible to abandon celibacy. That doesn't add up at all, actually. Nope, that doesn't make sense. So they have 8,000, they have 14,000. I guess they're only stronger because we're in the war. But they are currently on Corsica and they are sieging it, and if anyone wanted to actually go to Corsica, they'd have to go on the boats and then attack. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do that. A calming performance. A group of locals has taken stage in what seems to be the longest, blandest sermon I've ever heard. I tried to keep my eyes open, but soon enough the piles of hay at the corner of the street look a bit too comfortable, a bit too tempting. I must stay awake. I'm just resting my eyes. I'm going to rest my eyes for a little bit. To the prettiest. The stage in Venois has been set up with hay, flowers, and interesting guests. 3 different sheep stand in the centre, accompanied by their proud owners. Prince Bishop Paul gestures to me from the other end of the dais. Ah, there is our judge. I look around, trying to see if he's referring to me, but there's no mistake. I start walking towards him while he continues. Welcome to our annual fair, where the prettiest sheep will be crowned. When he talks, I notice that he's sneakily pointing at the one on the left. So I can go for the one on the left, or familiar beauty. I'm assuming I can't raise cultural acceptance because you are French. Okay, there we go. So we can judge animal contest, or get this one. So we can get attraction negative. I'll take the attraction negative. I'm not worried about that. Because, yeah, we're generally not worried about that right now. Okay, cool. And parting demand. I will of course take my 50 gold from you. A gilded contribution. Look at that, I hear as I walk down the streets of Venois. My mother, Hilly Ermengarde, is appointing what seems to be known as St. Matthew Smith's Guild. A smile quickly appears on her face, blissful. Okay, so this is the same type of stuff that we've had before. I just need to choose which one of these I want. Yes, you can't find a vocation for, for architect, because she already has it. Well, I guess I'll say these people are worth helping, and we'll help them with their development growth. Sure, why not? Okay. Altruism. A healing touch. I enter the Prince Bishopric of Venois, ready to bestow my touch upon the local peasantry. I'm immediately faced with what's undoubtedly the most wretched creature I've ever laid eyes upon. With minimal provocation, she exposes her calloused feet just inches from my pristine hands. Much as Christ washed the feet of his disciples, I too am implored by God to wash the feet of my loyal subjects. I don't really want to do that, though. Perhaps a light touch on the forehead will do. Get those filthy sausages away from me. We'll give you a touch on the forehead. Sure. Danger. A fire in the night. We are walking among the hills late in the day. The darkness comes suddenly, brought by the dark clouds above us. Then there is a distant sound of loud rumble of thunder. Soon there is another, combined with a dazing flash of lightning. And another strike, brightly illuminating the area. The after image burned into my eyes. I blink and see where the lightning is struck. Now there is a quickly expanding brush fire, and it is spreading towards us. So I can say run, or put it out before it spreads too far. There is a chance we become wounded if we do this, or run. There's a chance that Berenger becomes wounded, and the fire catches us while running away. It's a 60% chance it catches us. Or we can do this. Alright, we have to put out the fire, I think. The fire was stopped to be at its cost, so he became injured, but that's okay. That's fine. Okay, we're sieging. 5 months left on the siege. That's okay. They've got 17 months left on their siege, and that'll probably get them 100% war score. Wonderful. Okay. Which army is this? It's Luca's army. Luca aren't in the war. Wait a second. Yeah, wait, what army are you? Oh, you're the Duchy of Tuscany's army. Wait, why are you here? What are you doing? Moving to lift the siege of Brescia. Oh, they're moving to lift that siege. Okay, that's fine. Okay, whatever. I guess if that's what you want to do. Also, I want to check something about my travel. Yeah, we have no danger. Why are we getting all these danger events? Anyway, probably because there's still a random chance of getting danger. As we travel through the outskirts of Zurich, we suddenly find a jovial woman in the distance, jumping, dancing, and singing to herself. She seems like quite the character. Would you like to hear some of me songs about Lambert, the whoremonger of the Holy Roman Empire? She yells at us as soon as we get within shouting distance. Before we have time to answer, she starts singing a merry tune about the depravities of Kaiser Lambert. So I can say, tell me more. Would you like to join me as court jester? Or hold your tongue, vile peasant. In her joining us as court jester would be okay for reducing stress loss, but we don't really need that. Do we already have a jester? Yes, and they're already excellent. We could learn a secret about the Kaiser. You know what? Tell me a secret. What secret did I learn? Did he have any secrets for me to learn? No, so I learned no secrets. Alright then. Fair enough. Other people's pastures. A fine day like this, the weather is nice, the pastures of Kempton look great, and the local livestock are positively jumping and cheering in their own guttural manner. Calves are walking next to their mothers, their fur shiny and clean. Overall, the place is very competently run, although I do notice a couple of oddities that I would manage a bit differently. A local matriarch approaches me. A fine morning to you, my lady. Are these beauties not a sight to behold? My stewardship is too low for that one. But we could improve things around here and get some bonuses, I guess. And get a chance of being friends with Count Thomas of Kempton. Sure. Why not? Bovine Bounty. The journey through Coffburen unveils sprawling pastures dotted with cattle. As my retinue pauses at the edge of a verdant field, the herdsman approaches. Cheerfully strumming his lute, he grants a broad smile in greeting. My lady, these beasts are the pride of our province. Will you join me to witness our labour, restock your supplies, or perhaps just partake of our famous Coffburen blue cheese? So we get herding insights in the county of Ottoberg. Let us fill our supplies in our bellies, so we get travel safety. Get another cheese, or we must make haste. I'll take the herding insights, that's fine. This is fine. Travelling through the somewhat harsh environments has invigorating effects, at least on my state of mind and vigour. As I glance over at Bernard, however, he does not appear to be doing quite as well. His movement is laboured, his breathing heavy, and spontaneous bursts of coughing ripple through his body. Clearly, he is not well. We should rest and let him recover. I know a cure. Catherine can just cure him, or it's just a little cough. I'll just let Catherine cure him. And we have now arrived back from our tour, so we get the max bonus, which is Magnificent Liege, which gives us 5 vassal limit, 20% vassal tax contribution, ignore the herd, it doesn't apply to us, and development growth in the realm capital. Noble Gamekeeper gained an extra 50 glory, every visited vassal gets 30 opinion of us, and Luke Polding gets 150 renown. It's all good. I wanted to scroll there, because it's quite clearly a scroll wheel, but apparently you can, so yeah, we'll finish our grand tour there. Right. And the tour is over. Wonderful. I'm assuming this is now... Oh, it's still not quite max, actually, because we didn't get any experience for arriving back. I noticed that. Actually, we didn't get any experience for traveling back. I guess because the tour included the arriving back part. Okay. But we could get a tiny, tiny little boost if we just went somewhere else for a second. We can designate a guardian for Robert von Babenberg. The thing is, Robert is currently being educated by Freya because she is our court tutor. Therefore, we don't need an extra educator for Robert because he's being educated by a genius. So that's fine. We negotiate an alliance with our brother-in-law, Count Kuno of Fulda. Sure? Yeah, I don't see a reason not to. So I guess we will negotiate an alliance with you. Oh yeah, back to our war. We're about to win a siege. And we've won a siege. Go and try and pretend that we're contributing. Nope. Okay. That's fine. We now control Trent. Let's head down here. I could continue sieging Genoa. Sure, why not? Let's continue sieging something that gets a 0% war score. Oh no, I don't want to help them with the siege. Because I want the money from winning it. Okay, cool. How's your siege going? 8 months left. So in 8 months the war ends, basically. So 6 months left there. Yeah, okay. I think we're fine. Oh, who just died? My councillor Farabert died. Farabert Babenberg, which now means that his land has been split between Farabert II and Simon. Alright. Enemy has formed a new alliance with a random count. and some diseases spread, but not into our lands, which is good. Right, we need a new spy master. New spy master is going to be... Well, you would be okay, spy master. I don't think you could be my steward, right? No, you could be my steward. You would be a better spy master. Let's put in Ludolf as my spy master. Yeah, let's reassign you, and we'll put you into that position. That seems fine for now. Yeah, that all seems fine. Yep. Okay. Cool. Continue our sieges. This one's got 7 months left. We've got 3 months left. And more of our children are gaining different virtues. We've become best friends with Duke Eustace of Austria, who is also our husband. That's good. Okay. Cool. Yep. I'm going to go speed 5 for the end of this war. I don't think we need to... yeah, I don't think we need to worry too much about where armies are going. I think the war is done. It seems in my dealings with Count Farber, I may have accidentally made certain promises of exemptions from his obligations. I've tried, but I suspect there might not be any other way out of this. Signed, Meganhard of Eschenloh. So you fool, or I can still salvage this. He's not getting a hook on me. He can pay less taxes. That's fine. We finished our siege, and we have captured someone. Countess Kella. We'll get 25 gold for. Wonderful. Get to the second bit here. Not that we're actually going to get to siege it, because this is going to be finished any second now. 9 days, and in 9 days they'll get 100% war score? No. Yeah, there we go. There's 100%. 100% because he occupies, yeah, all the land. So, makes sense. And now, the war is... Oh, there's also Norse Scale as a new hybrid culture. Oh, my dog is dead. Well, I will miss you, dog. We're not going to skin you, so we will not choose the bottom option. That is the end of the war. So Duke Pellegrino has now won the Duchy of Corsica, which is fantastic. And we get, because of our 100% war contribution, because we were the only ally who had any war contribution, we get 100 prestige and 100 opinion. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't matter. He's 65 and about to die, so... Yeah, also I think his land is about to just split into 3, right? Oh yeah, like, definitely. Although that does now mean that his heir will get Tuscany and Corsica, which is quite good for them. Right. Let's start by fixing our issues. So these things are not as good as the mangonels. Yep, that seems to be a correct statement. There we go. That's that issue fixed. Do I want to buy more men-at-arms, now that I happen to have some money? Yes, I'm definitely going to increase the size of our light footmen. Do I want to buy anything else? Let's think about this. So these guys counter cav. These guys are countered by heavy infantry, which currently light footmen are countering. Right, so they're countering the heavy infantry. Bowmen are what counters skirmishers, and what counters bowmen are archers. Sorry, yeah. Never mind. I said the wrong word. Bowmen counter skirmishers. They are archers, and they get countered by light. And archers get countered by light horsemen. There we go. So we want light horsemen or armored horsemen. Armored horsemen are quite expensive. The negative is they're really bad in hills, which is a problem because everything is hills. We could get armored footmen of our own, but they only counter spearmen, and there's not a lot of point in getting armored footmen unless you're going to have horses, because the only reason you want them is to counter the spearmen. I mean, apart from the fact that their stats are pretty good to start with. We could get bowmen to counter skirmishers, because skirmishers only counter heavy infantry, of which we have none. So why would we do that? I'm just thinking here. What do we actually want? So bowmen counter skirmishers. Skirmishers counter heavy infantry, of which we have none. So we're not really worried about that. We have them. We have them. I guess I could just get more skirmishers. That's the other option. We just get more skirmishers. They're not great, but they are cheap. They have no negatives in our current terrain. They counter heavy infantry, which other people tend to have a lot of. Yeah. Maybe we just grab them. Yeah, I think we do, for now. We may change up our men-at-arms at some point, but for now I actually think that's fine. Okay. We're going to put them in Passau. I haven't actually managed to, yeah, I haven't managed to, like, optimize each of our holdings yet to be good at certain things like I wanted to. But, you know, that's the kind of thing you do when you have lots and lots of money, which we didn't have until this point. So, cool. Right, let's just take stock of where we are. So we're 35, we're going to live a long time. Our son is marrying you. And you are the heir to... Yeah, you are the heir to Steiermark. You might not always be, but you are currently the heir to Steiermark. Which means their child will be the heir to Steiermark. Okay. That's fine. And then that'll be how we get Steiermark. This son is marrying Princess Vladislav of Bohemia, which is securing an alliance with Bohemia. Right? We have an alliance with Bohemia. I think we do. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else betrothed? No. So we have 3 daughters who need betrothed. We have a plan for taking Steiermark. I think we maybe just start building up our holdings a little bit here. We do, at some point, want to take Vienna for ourselves. But in order to do that, we're going to have to revoke the title, which you are currently going to get us in 16 months. Although, actually, can I just check something here with revoking title? I still have a truce. When does my truce end? My truce with him ends in 14 months. So in 14 months, we can see whether I even need this. But yeah, which we want to take. And we want to take that, and that's going to be our capital. Okay. I could potentially build another castle in there, actually. Then we could have 3 castles in one holding. All of which held by ourselves. That would be interesting. I kind of like that idea. I mean, obviously us building temples is in line with what we want to do. But building a castle is really, really good gameplay-wise. It takes 6 years. I think we invest in the castle now. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. And now I can ask my head of faith for gold, because I no longer have quite as much gold as I had before. I'm no longer insanely wealthy, I'm just wealthy. Good. Alright, let's wait for him to give us some money. I hear a commotion come from my daughter Eleanor's chambers. Hastening inside, I see a wet nurse, Euphrosyne, playing with Eleanor. My liege, perfect timing. Eleanor just took her first step, she shouts excitedly. Holding my girl's hand, she tries to walk her around the room. A small step for a child, a small step for a ruler? What else can she do? Or I don't have time for this. Let's say small step for a child, a small step for a ruler. Okay. Thank you for the money, Pope. I appreciate that. Okay, so, next for us, let's just do some more checking around. Are we happy with this? What we got in here? Anything we want to fill in? We could have a lady in waiting, I think. Let's sort by aptitude. See if we have anybody who's sensible. Yeah, I'm not really worried about any of them. I don't want to give any of them jobs, necessarily. We could have more bodyguards, but again, I'm not worried about that. Okay. So fine. Accolades. Are we happy with who the successor is? Also is the successor. We're a bit into level 3. We're working our way up to level 4. That's fine. Currently fine as master of the hunt. We could hold another hunt if we wanted to. It's probably worth it to get the hunter trait experience on people. Yeah, we're currently still working on falconer, so it's probably worth doing one more of those at some point. Yes, we could do that now. We could hold a grand tournament as well. Oh, did we have somebody who wanted to hold a funeral for? I think we might have had somebody who wanted to hold a funeral for. Let me just clear these out. Ah, Theodolinda, our aunt. I do kind of want to hold a funeral for Theodelinda. Let's do that. And we'll go for humble stuff there. Our goal is just mourning to show our piety. Guest-wise, don't need potential friends, don't need suzerain confederates. Kaiser Lambert would turn up. It's interesting. Need tributaries. Don't need nearby adventurers. Don't need potential lovers. Probably don't need fellow well, I guess we could invite fellow vassals. Probably don't need court guests then. I don't have any? Wow, okay. We don't have any lovers either, so I'm just unticking it. We could untick courtiers here. Yeah, and that makes it more likely that these guys will be the ones that join us. Yeah, let's just hold an event with a bunch of people at it. Sure. Let's do that. Let's hold a funeral. Right, let's go. Speed 5. 5 months till it begins, because we're waiting for our guests to arrive. So yeah, just chill for a second. Dynasty legacy added. We got family connections. Major chance to prevent one murder scheme against each dynasty member. Interaction acceptance from intimidated or terrified plus 100%. So, that is the latest thing that Leopold has decided to give us, and it gives us this entire line, which is fantastic. I never go down the Guile line, so we'll see how that plays out for us. Obviously, we're not playing a very intrigue-heavy character right now, but if we do, hey, all of a sudden, it's very good. Also, the chance of preventing murders is very nice. Across the dynasty as well. The faithful prepare for war. Hey, I was looking for something to do, and here we go. A papal envoy has reached my court, bringing news from the Vatican. Pope Honorius has issued a call to arms to all righteous Christian rulers. As a Catholic Duchess, I'm expected to prepare my men in support of this most holy cause, sponsored by the Universal Church itself. To all those who will take the fight against the vile infidels desecrating the holy grounds of Jerusalem, the Holy See promises full absolution from all sins and a guaranteed place in heaven. I'm definitely going to say, yeah, I'm in. But what's interesting about this is that Jerusalem is not nearly as strongly defended as usual. There's only 3,000 people there. Obviously you could have all of this join, but realistically, there's not that many people here. So, yeah, I suspect that we're going to crush this war. Absolutely and completely. That's cool. Do I have a beneficiary who makes sense? Let's click here and let's go for... Well, they're all my dynasty anyway. Would love it if this screen was a little bit bigger. My brother Otto? You know what? He's the obvious beneficiary. Yeah, he is the absolute most obvious beneficiary. He's perfect because he is unable to, he's not in line of succession, therefore he is valid as a beneficiary. It gets him land. Yeah, this would be perfect. Also, if he dies over there, right, he will not have any children. So the titles will revert back to us. That's interesting. That also means that we don't want to win the war. As in, we don't want to have the most contribution, because if we have the most contribution, he will be king. He will be the Crusader king, and if he dies, that will then make us the inheritor of his title, and we will inherit the kingdom. Huh. Yeah, no, we really don't want that to happen. But I'm still good. He's the obvious beneficiary. It makes perfect sense to me. Right. Oh, and the ceremony has started. Alright. All eyes fall upon Countess Christine of Gesenhausen as she falls to the ground in lamentation, hands coating her reddened eyes from views. Countess Christine of Gesenhausen, sorrowful gasps and chokes have left her fellow mourners breathless, and many offer her comfort and reverence, as if it were her who were to be committed to the hereafter. I'm not going to make eyes fall upon me. I'm going to mourn in my own way. Okay. Offerings of libations. I and the other mourners take a reprieve from our grief to enjoy a great bounty of food. Mayor Ludolf of Mark Quardstein, usually the lifeblood of any feast, now sits across from me misty-eyed with an untouched goblet at his side. How can we make ourselves fat and merry in times like these? Are we to satisfy our hedonistic desires while Theodelinda has none? Join me and empty your goblets in libation. Yeah, we'll join in, I guess. That's fine. The last chance. The sorrowful line marches on, the last line to have a moment with Theodelinda. A last whisper, a last long goodbye, a last nothing in the last place anyone will ever see her again. Truly a privilege it is to be here. I'll speak of her virtues at the funeral. Ooh, sorry, I was pressed the wrong one. What I wanted to do is close that and reopen it. There we go. The mourners move through the hall, weeping in a kind of macabre dance, all for Theodelinda. The unsettling silence of the people holding back what they so desperately wish to do. Silent screams never to part their lips, hard-fought battles against tears being lost, so ashamed of their own grief. I rise to my feet and allow myself to get lost in a dance with my fellow mourners. I must remain strong. Okay. One of the greats. Before me, a feasting table stocked high with all manner of food and drink, as if Theodelinda was trying to offer a final act of magnanimity before parting. Duchess Katharina of Upper Silesia so far refused to lay a finger on this banquet, however, swilling her goblet around in idle solace. Her middle-distance stare falls wearily upon me, and with a quiet nod she raises her drink high. To Theodelinda, truly one of the greats. Let's speak a quiet prayer. Sure. Hey, you've improved my Tusk of the Munchen beer with Hostile Scheme phase length 1 day faster. Fantastic. The shadows of mourners no longer loom over me. I'm at last given a moment alone. What quiet comfort I could take in such a moment without the rattling and prattling of other guests in my ears, just me and my thoughts of Theodelinda. Our moment in time. Of all the figures venerated and villainous, none have been more desired than a departed Theodelinda. I'll allow myself a moment of grief. Okay. Dust to dust. We have now had our funeral for Theodelinda. Wonderful, and that got us a ton of piety as well. And now we've arrived back, and that gets us 11 Wanderer experience, which now means that we are now at level 2 Wanderer, which is a health boost, a diplomacy boost, and a learning boost, and travel speed, and monthly wandering lifestyle experience. Next big thing we're doing is the Crusade in 1 year. Could potentially fit in a little bit of a hunt in between. Could pardon my son from his witch crimes as well if I wanted to. But for now, I am going to end the episode there. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.